good tip for you. If you know someone in UK, get them to buy it for you because it's only £256. Now, you probably will get that the price there is not the price of the device, but it's just a value price just to make it developer. It probably costs more than that, but it's just, they have to sell it. So. Okay, just to go back a bit before Tango, in terms of all developers or application use or manage to get location from users in the space. So it's not an exhaustive list, it's just some examples. So one of the first one was the Wii remote, which you probably all play with, which used infrared to see where end of the player was, as well as lots of capital in the like gyroscope and movement and things like that. Follow up on that, using kind of the same technology, infrared, you get the Microsoft Kinect and also the Leap, which I guess if you really see the name of it, where it tracks the movement of your hand with infrared. Also, on phones, we have lots of ways to track our movement. So when you move your phone around, when you turn it with the gyroscope, with the compass, and the GPS, the phones kind of know where you are. And one example of the good use of that is whatever has been done with cargo, because really you can have the real movement in the 3D world or augmented reality. So most developers have been using that system of tracking the movement of the phone for a while. Most of them very good idea, some not so good. No, but will be better or even great if, let's say, you work in a warehouse and you want to find an item, and rather than using something like lines on the floor or a map, you have a tablet that tells you, okay, with augmented reality system like arrows tells you, okay, you go left, you go right, and then third shelves, here's your item, the item you need to pick. Or let's say you're in a museum and you just walk around like many of us will do in a museum, and then you come in front of a piece of art or painting or anything, and then you just point to the tablet, because you look at your tablet, and the tablet on your phone will tell you exactly what it is, without you typing a number on things when you have your iPhones, without saying where you are, because the tablet tracks you in the museum, and you know exactly where you are, knows exactly where you are, even if you walk upstairs or something like that. And also to expand on the cardboard, it would be great if, rather than having the cardboard and just staying on your 2 feet, be able to move around in the room and just use that space a bit better than just standing there. And actually, that's an example of an application of something they've done for Project Tango. It's a NetGun with a Bluetooth trigger. So you see the normal world, and on the tablet you see a virtual world, but it means like if you are wall, if you walk, it goes, it follows you with that. So it's one application. Okay, just some trivia before we go talking about the tablet. I don't know if you know anyone, if you know this guy? No? Yeah. Okay. So briefly, he started in 2007 hacking Wii remote, using them to do head tracking, inverting the system, having infrared antenna and then the remote beside the TV. Then he joined Microsoft, where he worked on project NATO, and then which became the Kinect. And now he's one of the lead on the project Tango. So he had lots of experience on those systems of tracking and infrared. Okay, now on the tablet. From the front, it's like your normal tablet. Actually, the screen is in the screen from the Nexus 7, and you get everything you expect, like front camera. You can even connect. Normally, you can connect HDMI and project it. It doesn't work here, but you can also put a SIM card in it. It's a TV, so like front speakers, like really a normal tablet. But it's from the back that it's more interesting, because you have three things. You have a fisheye camera, which gives you an overview of the room, and then you have an infrared projector, and an infrared camera, which get more details about the room. So, what it can do motion tracking, meaning it can see, it knows where you move, to go up, to go down, left, right. So it's not that there's a gyroscope that way, just that way. It also has something we call area learning, meaning that, and it's a good example of application with the museum I explained before, that if you've been in a room before and you have what they call it area description file, the tablet will recognize and will know in that space where it is without having to scan the whole thing again. So we know, okay, there's the door, there's the TV there, window there, okay, I know where I am. So, and it's something you can share between devices. There's a game, for example, a basketball game, where the first player will define the floor, the wall, and then put the basket there on that wall. And then you can share that information with another player with a tablet, and the other player doesn't have to do that, say where the ball. It knows, then both tablets will know exactly where they are, and they can play together with having both scan and be in different rooms. And also it has deep perception, meaning it knows where if an object is in front or back, which is very important if you want to know where your space on where you are in this case. So, how does it work? Okay. It's not magic. It's with that infrared projector. Actually, I should try something. Okay, so if I open an app, okay, so if I put the infrared projector, you can see, it's not perfect, what, yeah, well, you cannot guess. So that's the way it works. So, okay, it's a bit of a lie because that screen, that photo, infrared photo, is from a Kinect, but it's exactly the same technology. So you have an array like that of little dots, and the infrared camera will read those and will know based on the feedback, what the environment looks like. And that's the way it works. That's the way you can build 3D environment of the room around it, because it does that. Okay, no, I'm too fast now. I don't know the time. But I want to keep time. Yeah, I want to keep time for the demo because it's more interesting than anything. But
if you feel as though you're, if you feel as though you've reached the end, we'll have plenty of questions.
No, so there's you probably don't care about Java or maybe a little bit, but for Unity, there's an SDK that you can use, and it's, as I said, I've never used Unity before I got the tablet, and in one Sunday afternoon, I've installed Unity, which takes a while. Update my Android Studio, which I had already, but I had to run it, and then install the SDK, and then I was going to create the scene and interact in that scene with the tablet. So the minimum should be the tablet is the camera, and I was going to move in the room, and then it moves in my scene in the room. Okay, there's no interaction, no scripts, but it was very, very quick. There's a very good, I don't know if you know this company, Patient 47, probably they're in 3D modeling or something like that. They have lots of videos where they go to Project Tango and they explain, they have tutorial, and it's very good, very well explained. And the people from Google as well are very active and stack up. That's a view, a screenshot I took quickly from Unity. So probably we'll get the wording wrong. That's called assets. Yes, yeah. So when you install the SDK, you get tons of assets that you you can use. So there's scripts, there's cameras, there what they call the video overlay, and then there's the point cloud. It's all things that you can use to interact, or you script or for your scene to interact with the tablet. By default, you even get like the enable the camera mode UI. So without doing anything, you get then a button on your view where you can choose, first person or third person or the top view. And it's like, it seems very, very easy. So I would guess that someone who has already a big project in Unity will be able to use or include that with the tablet with not so much effort once it doesn't look very, very, very complicated. Okay, so I want to do demo because that's really where the best is. So I should be, but I can't project on that projector because it can't take full HD. So I'm going to show it to you like that. You probably won't see perfectly.
You know what? If you want, we've got a count. No, go ahead. Sorry.
You connect the camera?
No.
So there's one demo app which measures point in space. So for example, if I measure that screen there, there's it tells you it's 1 meter 4. So, and then once I move in the room, it stays not. It's not accurate. You wouldn't do like shells or something like that with those measurements. But let's say if you want to paint that room or get new flooring and you don't care if it's 10 centimeters, 6 centimeters, I don't speak inches, but if you really don't care, then it will work. So I don't know if you really can see. I still have the measurement that I use to tablet around, so it's not. But there it is. And the good thing is that it's really in space. So if I take a point here, so you're in steady, so just scan the infrared. Now, it doesn't very bright light, so if it's outside on a sunny day, it won't work well. And dark room, it doesn't work either. But a room like this one is kind of okay. So if I measure from there, and then just move around, I take another point here, and then I'll show it for this group. But you see you have the measurement there from those 2 points.
Drawing a line from
it's
where?
drawing a line from there to there.
Do the actual measurement now.
So, now I go on the other side of the computer to show you. Because I can't really turn the scene. When it sees it, the real world. Okay, and
you haven't quite got to that level of demo where you can turn the world around.
So one thing that will be probably very interesting for most of you is that you get what they call a constrictor. It's one of the Google demo app, and when it does, it just scans the room. So actually, it's a good example. You can see the black there. I'm not. Oh yeah, you can scan it. So I just turn around you, and you'll see the screen as it scans.
Really?
Scan you. Okay. Now it's not like show you.
Wow. Okay, so it's building a point cloud.
Yeah. So it's not perfect, meaning I can't scan the phone there and then 3D print it. But you will be able, for example, to scan a car or a room like this one, and then use it as a. No, the resolution is not as good as that one. I just can't see it in the voice, which is more like a glass.
generate new courses for tourism. We have lost.
So then the camera, the eye camera takes the call. So no, like certain persons use this and see the room it's scanned. And once you have that, and that's probably something, you can save it as an OBG file.
Nice.
Meaning that
Yeah,
you get
great.
whatever you want with it.
That's
So,
good reference.
Yeah, yeah. So that was one example. But to show you an application, I think it's that one. I'll show you this one. That's the game.
Oh.
Okay, so it crashed. Send me. Okay. So it's the game I show earlier with the gun. And really, I move around blocks like it's like a shipping container kind of view. But if I move around, or if I go down or go up, you move in the scene, really in the gap.
Raphael, a suggestion,
Yes.
maybe if we move to questions, and then when people are
Yeah,
signing up,
it's-
we can pass that around and
Yeah.
show people.
There's just one example. There's someone who recompiled, that's probably not someone for you on Unity, but it could be actually, compiled Chromium with the drive that are needed to click the tablet. And then if you go to that URL, tango-department.com, it's a simple 3GS HTML5 page. There's nothing about it. But if you go into that on your phone, you have to kind of touch it and go into the room. But with Project Tango, actually, you can go in the room, and it's really not. It's hard to show you, but you really go into rooms. Okay, go across the wall. And you saw the kitchen there. They go there. Oh, they're on the other side. And it's just JavaScript and an OBG file with the room, and then you move on. And there's some option where you can change the color or change the carpet or change the board.
And so are there plans for putting out a new version of this or making it more accessible to consumers? Or
Well, I know that they are working with Qualcomm to have all the chips necessary to integrate that. And I think Intel as well had some prototype of devices phone, which is the same principle and the same core. Android, Tango, core thing, and I can't tell you when it's going to be because I don't know when it's something that will be published. But I would guess if they build something, first you can get that tablet. It's on sale, so you can buy it, so you can use it as a tool. So to scan a room, to scan a big object like a car or something like that, for a client. So that gives you rather than I don't know which way you can scan otherwise, but it's pretty cheap. Even if it's not extremely accurate, it might need cleaning, but if you buy it in UK, it's €350, and you get the 3D scanning device which you can move around the car. I think it's probably pretty cheap. So that's one way to use it as a tool to scan, and then I would guess that once you have an application like the museum or gaming, that would be probably an entry for consumer. It wouldn't be, they wouldn't put that on all HTC and Samsung phone and then everybody will have it. I don't think that would work that way, or will take years to be at that point. But like Kinect, who has a Kinect here? You see? So I don't have one either. But but still Microsoft's making money on that. So there's probably a niche market where you could be able to use that tablet or someone else's tablet, once you have all the application there as well.
For an indie dev, the ability to get to scan in 3D objects or to scan in performance capture is incredibly attractive.
Yeah.
Any questions, folks?
Have you seen anyone use it for VR yet, even though it's kind of big and clunky? I think when they're in phones, it'll be really good for VR, so you'll have like a better cardboard with it. Has anyone tried because you'll be able to move around if you if you actually had that tech inside your phone that you have with cardboard.
Yeah.
It works pretty well.
Google is running, which is almost at the end of it, a competition where they ask first developer who got it, probably most of them are in the States, we know, to develop app, and there's few that I have installed. There's one there called Castle Defender, where it's mostly for kids, but you scan your room and then you drop a castle on the floor. And then you can move around, but it's still, you know, in your bedroom, if you will. And there's lots of examples like that. There's an example with the dinosaur where, I have to explain, but you create, in augmented reality, you create a walking space where you have a laptop, and then you have dinosaur eggs that you can get from. And then once you have that, you have all collected all the eggs, then you get a bubble in the middle, and then when you go into that bubble, then on the tablet you still see the bubble in the room, and then once you're in it, then you're in the virtual world. So it's a mix, but there's lots of examples like that of augmented reality or mixing VR and VR.
Alright, well, we take a break and play with the toy.
Yeah.